Hey guys, it's MandaPanda. Welcome back to another custom My Little Pony tutorial. Today we are going to take a walk on the dark side and transform Pinkie Pie into Bendy from the video game Bendy and the Ink Machine. I'm starting off by prepping the pony for customization. I twisted the head firmly to one side until it popped right out of the neck plug, and then very carefully using my X-Acto knife, I cut around the neck plug and removed it so that way I can get access to all of the hair roots inside of the head. Now I'm using some scissors and I'm going to cut off the bulk of Pinkie Pie's original mane, and then I'm going to grab some teeny tiny scissors and cut the hair all the way down to the scalp. And this step is super important because the shorter the hair is, the easier it's going to be to pull out all of those roots and the glue that's stuck inside of the head. So you can see right inside where all that hair is glued in. I'm gonna reach in with my pliers and pull out all of those roots until her head is completely bald and ready to be customized. Now let's prep Pinkie Pie's body. Using a little bit of acetone, I'm going to completely remove her original cutie mark. And then I'm going to grab my scissors and cut off the bulk of her tail. And then using the sharp end of my small scissors, I'm just going to press in whatever's left of that tail directly inside of the pony's body. And just like that, the tail is gone. Now, real quick, I'm just going to reattach that neck plug that I cut out of the head to the body so that way I don't lose it, because I have done that before and it took me a whole day to find it. Okay, finally got that snapped on. Let's get started with the transformation into Bendy. I'm gonna start off by painting Bendy's body first. I'm gonna be using my favorite black nail polish. This is Black Heart by Sally Hansen. To make painting a little bit easier for me, I'm gonna take the end of a paintbrush and stick it through the tail hole. This allows me to really move the body without having to touch it. So that way, once I put my paint down, I don't accidentally smudge it and then have to go and fix it again. I'm covering the entire pony with one coat of this black polish, but if you're using acrylic paint, you might need 2 or 3 coats. I'm gonna put that to the side, let it dry, and start working on Bendy's head. So Bendy has these really cool ears that are curved on the outside, but very pointy at the tip. To recreate that look on the pony, I am actually going to cut off a small curved section right at the top of the ear, and that should really make it look like Bendy's ear. And I'm just going to repeat this on the other side. To make Bendy's face, I'm going to be using Sugru, which I've used in so many customs before. It is an air dry rubber. I prefer it over air dry clay because it doesn't shrink. Now, if you don't have any, you could always use acrylic paint and paint the face on. You don't have to use Sugru. I'm just going to use it because I prefer it. So I've softened it up in my hands and rolled out a really long snake shape, and I'm going to press that into all of the holes where we pulled the hair out earlier, so that way the head looks completely smooth and then you don't see those holes anymore. Now I'm taking a little bit more Sugru. I still have it in like a flattened snake-like shape, and I'm wrapping it around the edge of the ear because I want to make the ears a little bit bigger, rounder, and then I want to make the tips really pointy, just like Bendy. So that looks really awesome. I'm just going to repeat this on the other ear. and let it completely dry. So here is the back of Bendy's head. It looks super awesome. I love the way that the shape of the ears came out. I think it looks just like Bendy. Now I'm just going to take my X-Acto knife and kind of roughly cut out the shape of Bendy's face, like the front portion of Bendy's face, and then I'm just going to scrape off all of the extra sugru. I had originally planned to paint on the rest of Bendy's face, but since I need sugru for Bendy's gloves, I thought I would use a little bit to finish off his face. Now, I'm not going to make Bendy white and black. I'm going to make Bendy that weird off-white color that he is in the video game. So to make that color, I'm going to mix up white with a little bit of brown and a little bit of yellow, and that should make the perfect color for his face and his gloves. Now I'm just going to use my fingers to mix this up, and look at that color. I think it looks awesome. A perfect match. I'm just going to pinch off a little bit for Bendy's face. I flattened it out a little bit in my fingers, and I'm gonna completely cover any pink that is still exposed and flatten that out, make it nice and smooth. While the sugru is still wet, I'm going to use one of my clay tools from my clay tool set, and I'm going to cut out the shape of Bendy's face. Since the black sugru is completely dried, it is really easy to just scrape off the yellow sugru. So let's get his face all put in. And then I'm gonna let that sugru completely dry. Once it has, I'm gonna switch over to some acrylic paint and give Bendy his face. Bendy has so many different faces, but I'm gonna go with the classic Bendy that has a big smile on his face. For his eyes, I'm starting off with a big arch down at the bottom, and then I'm gonna draw like a Pac-Man shape for his eyes and just fill that completely in. For the mouth, I'm just gonna give him a really big curved mouth and put in his teeth. On my last custom pony video, which was Owlette from PJ Masks, I asked for you guys to give me suggestions for my next custom, and Bendy was by far the most popular suggestion in the comments, so I definitely had to make this custom. The face is all on. Now I'm going to completely cover it with a layer of varnish to seal all of that work in, and now I'm going to finish up Bendy's body. The black polish has completely dried and my sugru is still wet. It hasn't hardened yet. So very quickly, I'm just going to wrap the two front legs with that sugru for Bendy's gloves. And while it's still wet, I'm just going to go in at the top and press a line into the glove so it kind of looks like the wrist area of Bendy's original gloves. And then I'm going to use whatever's left for Bendy's shoes. I have pressed it out into a circular shape and then cut a line right down the middle. That shape makes it so much easier to wrap the sugru around the bottom of the pony's leg. Now I'm just using a clay tool to make sure the sugru is pressed up against that leg really firmly, and then I'm just going to cut off any excess and repeat this process on the other leg really quickly. Before the sugru sets, I'm going to make Bendy's bow. I'm just gonna kind of freehand the bow right on top of a sheet of paper using a clay tool to just cut off the excess, making that perfect bow shape. Now the sugru is about half wet right now, but I'm still gonna attach the bow to the pony's body right there at the front, and when it completely sets, it should glue itself right in place. So the sugru has completely dried. It's time to go in for those final details on his body. Using one of my tools, I'm just going to even out the top of Bendy's shoes and give them a nice crisp, straight line. And then I'm just gonna gently scrape off the excess sugru. Now I'm switching over to an X-Acto knife because I need something very sharp for this next step. I just want to give Bendy's shoes a better shape, so I'm going to use my X-Acto knife and shave off really thin layers until I like the shape of the shoe. Now the body has a lot of sugru residue on it, so I'm taking a little bit of rubbing alcohol and just cleaning it off using a Q-tip. Now I'm switching back to that same black nail polish I used on Bendy's body, and I'm going to paint in his shoes, and I'm gonna let that nail polish completely dry. Once it has, I can start working on the rest of Bendy. I'm using a little bit of black here, and I'm just going to put in a few lines on his tie to kind of define that shape and really make it pop. Gonna put some lines on the gloves and the 2 circles he has on his fists. I've mixed up an acrylic paint that matches my sugru, and I'm going to give Bendy the 2 little reflections on his shoes. And just like that, the body is completely done. I just need to reattach the head. Let's take a look at the completed custom. Here is Bendy from Bendy and the Ink Machine, and he looks so awesome. So here's Bendy without a tail. I wasn't sure if I wanted Bendy to have one or not, so I'm going to show you both. So here's Bendy without a tail, and here's Bendy with a tail. Which one do you like the most? Let me know down in the comments below. I think Bendy looks really awesome with that black tail. I love the way that this custom pony came out. I hope that you have enjoyed this tutorial, and if you use it to make your own custom, I would love to see your finished product. So send me some pictures on Facebook or Instagram. Thank you so much for watching, Little Pandas. Until next time, bye! You can follow me online to get the latest news and updates. Like my Facebook page, facebook.com/MandaPanda Toy Collector, or follow me on Instagram at MandaPanda Toy Collector. Wanna mail me something? Guess what? You can. Mail it to MandaPanda, P.O. Box 2855, Humble, Texas 77347.